have an expiration date. You have to keep working on it. You can't grow and continue to live the life of a trash person. It's just not going to work. I don't know where I would be without God. I'm being honest. Like, yeah, I curse a lot, but I don't know where I would be without God. I truly get it. I mean, I empathize with you. I just feel like I wouldn't have done it that way. Welcome back to another episode of I Don't Know Who This Is For podcast with your host, Sherelle Duncan. I'm so excited that you decided to spend your time with me and share my community with your community so we can grow and have a huge community. How dope is that, right? So listen, y'all. Y'all know I love God and y'all know what I like to do. So we're going to go ahead and pray, and then I'm going to introduce my next guest because I'm so excited. Oh, my God. Okay, Father God, in the name of Jesus, I thank you so much for today. God, I thank you so much for allowing us to wake up. I thank you so much for allowing us to see another day. God, I thank you so much for fellowship. I thank you so much for allowing me to create safe spaces. God, I thank you for using me as a vessel. I thank you so much for giving me the words that I need to make this impactful. God, I thank you so much for allowing this to land on the ears of the people that need it. In your mighty name we pray, amen. So y'all, let me just tell y'all who we have today. I'm going to just go ahead and we got MB, Mary Beth. My girl is here. Let me tell y'all, I am so excited. Well, let me tell you, I'm so excited that you are here. Because who would have thought that this would be
I love it.
Where we would be today?
I love it. I love it.
I'm so excited. Tell the people who you are, what you do, and then we can get into it.
Okay, so I'm Mary Beth Olson, and I'm the founder and CEO of MVO Media. We're a full-service PR agency, and we do it all.
Yes. So you are a PR agent, a publicist.
Yes.
And you're doing this conversation with me. So
you're
basically in the place of like one of your clients
Totally.
today.
Totally. I love it.
How does it feel?
I love it. I think this is the second podcast I've been on, and I've done a bunch of TV, but not for a while.
Yeah.
It was before COVID when I did my last guest appearance. But yeah, it's awesome.
Thanks
for having me.
I'm so glad that you said yes.
Oh, I'm so honored. I was like,
are
you kidding me?
I gotta have MB on.
I am so honored, honestly.
So how did we meet? When did we first meet?
Okay, so I was taking one of my clients on the Lion Lunch Hour on Fox 5.
Yep.
And here you are in your pink dress with the feathers and your stilettos, and you come on in. And I remember I was sitting on the couch, and I look to my left, and I see this guy smiling at you, and I'm like, okay, agent, manager, husband. I was like, that's black. That's black. And I just like couldn't stop smiling when I was looking at you.
Every time I looked over at you, you were smiling.
I couldn't help it. I just was like, who is this beautiful soul? I'm an energy person. I know everybody says that, like, oh, I'm an energy person. But like literally since I was little, you can go into a room and I can read the room and I can feel energy. And I think that actually helps me with my job. But I just felt you and all your energy and what you were bringing to the table. And I just was like, I love her. I just love her already.
Every time I looked over at you, you were smiling like really big. And I'm like,
who is this?
Who is this lady? But I also felt like, oh my God, I really like her. Like before we even started talking, and then I walked over and you were just looking up at me. You were like, you're so beautiful. I was like, oh my God, so are you. I love your shoes. And we just started talking. And I don't know what happened, how we ended up connecting. But the moment we like exchanged numbers, it has just been so amazing. It's been so organic.
It's been real.
It has. It's been very
real.
Authentic and something, the type of relationship that I really do love, something that is organic or authentic. And then we connect on so many different levels, right?
100%.
Like, who would have thought, if people saw us in the room, they would never say, oh, those two people would be
best friends.
Ever.
They're best friends.
They
I know.
Like,
I know.
No
they'd be like, who's this white woman?
Exactly.
In her pink athletic sweatshirt.
And this loud black woman with all of this energy.
Oh.
How did it connect? And what people don't realize is that we're more alike than we aren't.
100%.
Our conversations, I'm just like, oh,
they run deep.
Yes.
They do run deep.
Yes, very deep. And I'm very grateful that, I love meeting women that regardless of what they do, who they are, we can connect on a level that is below the surface.
It's so true. I have no patience for that. I'm just
I cannot stand small talk. I'm offended by it. And you and I have never had small talk. It always goes so deep. I end up crying. Like it always.
I feel like crying right now. I really do. I was just thinking that earlier. I was like, I kind of feel like I'm going to cry during this.
Why do you feel like you're going to cry?
I feel like we've been through a lot together, and we started off fast friends, and
very fast friends.
It not always do those fast friendships resonate, It's a lot of it, but this was not for any other reason than just two people who kind of were drew to each other. And I just knew, I was like, this is a fantastic person. And not only that, but you say what you do and you do what you say.
Yeah.
And you show up for me. I try to show up for you.
You don't try, you do.
Okay.
You really do.
Well,
I know that we're both very busy. We're both moms.
Yes.
We're both wives, and
Yes.
we both lead a very busy lifestyle. You have high-profile clients that need you all the time. And then you have kids that need you all the time.
It's true.
You have dogs that need you all the time. Your husband.
Fucking dogs. God. Sorry. We're just praying and then I'm dropping an F-bomb already.
It's okay.
Those fucking dogs. Go on.
We're going to do it a lot. How do you, I hate when people ask the balance question, because there is no way to balance all of this shit.
No, girl.
There is no way, but how, you and I laugh about being a mom all the time, MB.
I know.
How do you, what is a day in the life of MB?
Oh my God. You know what? Okay. So I did an interview with another magazine, and they were asking me, how do you do it all? And I'm like, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't. I really don't. And you know what? You can only do certain things so much. That whole calories in, calories out kind of mentality, I live by, because at the end of my workday, I'm so spent.
Yeah.
And then my real job starts.
Yeah.
And my real job is with the kids. So an average day, this is going to age me incredibly, go to bed at 8:30 or 9.
So do I.
I am so tired.
Exactly.
I partied my ass off in New York City.
Yes.
I stayed up. I did everything for everyone, and I just am done ski. So
Yes.
I go to bed early because I'm mentally and physically wiped.
Done.
I go outside. I get my 10 minutes of direct sunlight. I drink my coffee, kind of think about the day, get my kids to school. I don't lay out the clothes the night before, which is such a bullshit thing because it's so easy to do. And I'm always like, I'm going to lay out I never do it. So stupid. Do it, people. Parents, lay your kids out. Lay the clothes out. It makes your life easier.
And you're not going to do it
I just
tonight.
don't do it. I'm like, you know what? I'll do it tomorrow morning. No, you know what? I'm full of shit. Full of shit. Okay. So, and then I usually get a snack and then I go to the gym.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm like, okay, this is where I can focus.
Yeah.
I can think about what I got going on. I look at my calendar. I live by my calendar.
Yeah.
If it's not on my calendar, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Exactly. No, that's just so
busy.
true.
And then I try, we have calls. I have to be on site a lot of times. I'll go to the restaurants. I'll get on the call with, JB. He's one of my favorites. He's the assistant.
I really enjoy him.
Love JB.
His spirit is so good.
He's the best.
He just has really good energy. I really want him and Black to connect because
100%.
he has really good, calm energy. But he's not a shit taker at all.
Oh no, I know. He
I
told me
love that.
He told me the funniest story. He said one time, and this is derailing, but he told me he was in chapel with the Washington Wizards, and that one of the people in charge had said to him, I really don't want you to curse. You're not supposed to curse in chapel. And he's like, why? My God is a badass motherfucker. And this was our first meeting together, and I was like, I love you.
Exactly.
I love you.
Your type of person.
My type of person. Yes. And then I usually email the teacher and I'm like, what shit's going down today? Is everything okay? Are we doing all right? I'm not that mom who's gonna just harass and be overly, helicopter, but there's always challenges.
Yes.
There's always challenges.
There are big challenges with being a mom, and you and I were talking about that, and I always holler laughing at you when you talk about the way you show up. And Gabby was my first guest, and the reason I had Gabby as my first guest is because we talk about our insecurities as moms all the time. And you told me one time, you're a great mom. Oh my God,
you are a great mom. You are a great mom.
I feel I will receive that.
Yes.
But we do have those insecure moments, and it's like, I am fucking this up.
I am an idiot. I am the self-deprecation queen or whatever. I really do feel, and I was thinking this on the car ride as I'm leaving, and my kids are like, bye, mommy. And now there's all these work events during the week. And I'm like, why? How did this happen?
Yeah.
I mean, you're trying to balance your career and being a parent. And you know what really, I'm doing this course called Positive Parenting Solutions.
Wow.
Because I'm like a yeller. And how did that happen?
Yeah.
My parents aren't yellers.
Yeah.
Well, how did that happen? And I'm just like, come on, George, come on, help. I don't need to bark.
Yeah.
I need to be softer and calmer. And it's helping me. It is helping me, but it is so challenging. It's so hard. And I always feel like I'm not doing a good enough job.
I just feel like we are.
And sometimes I'm not, Cheryl.
Sometimes we don't.
Sometimes
do a great
I'm
job.
not.
And you know what? And that's fucking okay. Because you
I
wake up
guess.
tomorrow and you're like, hey, you know what? Yesterday was yesterday, but I'm going to do something different today.
Yes.
Because sometimes I don't feel like hearing about my child's day.
And sometimes I don't feel like playing Legos on the floor.
I don't feel like playing Legos. I don't want to
so
see a
true.
dance. I don't want to see a cheer. I love you very much. I love you so, so much.
It hurts, right?
Yes. I love you so much that it hurts.
Yes.
But this is hurting me having to hear this. I don't. But because your day is so jam-packed.
It's so jam-packed.
And then you come home and you have to be a mom. And you have to be a mom to kids that haven't seen you all day. They miss you. They're very excited about their accomplishments. And you have nothing else to give.
Not to mention, my kids don't come home. I mean, they're 6 and 8. They don't come home and they're like, guess what? I have to pry. Yeah. Be like, okay, guys, what happened today? What's good? They're in the whining phase. George is great. He's more an introvert, but Helen and I are like twin sisters. I mean, she loves the jewelry. She loves clothes. She loves it all. And she is a girly girl. She just came out that way. But she's whining all the time. And I'm like, the hairs are sticking up on my arm if I have to listen to more whining. I'm like, everything is kind of a Debbie Downer lately. And I'm like, what happened to my happy-go-lucky, free-spirited child? Why are you so grumpy?
Exactly.
Why?
Life
and so
is
it's that.
kind of fucking our kids up too.
I know.
School is fucking them up. Their friends, they are having
mean,
bad days too. So that's why in my mind I'm like, I have to.
I know you
to
have
this.
to put. You got to put yourself in that position. Yes.
And people love to talk about how great it feels and how they're always there for their children. And I'm like, you're a human being, lady.
I know.
You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
Let's be real. Let's have real conversations about what it feels like on days that you don't feel like it.
It's hard. I mean, I curse so much and I try to curse under my breath, but my my favorite story about like my parenting, how awesome of a parenting I am, was we were in the car and my daughter was 4 and we were at this Montessori school at the beach because we lived there a couple years and George, my son, is like the king of procrastination. And he's like picking flowers. And I'm like, God, get in the car. We got to go. We got to go. We got to go. And Helen yelled out, George, get the fuck in the car.
What? Helen was sick of George's shit that day.
I was like, oh, this is not good.
Poor George.
And meanwhile, Montessori is like, let's like whittle something out of wood. Like this woman who was the head of the school, she looked at me and it has never been the same. She was like, what just happened? And you know what?
What did you do?
I mean, first of all, I was shocked.
Yes.
Second of all, I started laughing. Third of all, what do you do when your 4-year-old says to her brother, "Get the fuck in the car"? What do you do?
I would holler.
I was literally about to pee in my pants. She was so cute too with her little.
Exactly. There's no way that you could be like you're punished or anything. It's like you got that from me.
I know 100%. Like Nick doesn't curse.
Yeah,
he doesn't, and it's not intentional. I'm just like, how do you not curse?
Yeah,
and he's like, he just doesn't. I mean, once in a while. There's a
damn
but,
or
or like a goddamn it, or but like, I mean, I can't. I told my friend was sleeping over with her girlfriend, with her girlfriends, with her kids, and she was sleeping over. And I told my friend the badass motherfucker story about JB, and George was sitting right there, and he was like, "What's that?" I was like, "Never mind, never mind." And my friend Julie's like, "Seriously, Mary Beth?" I was like, "I don't know." I'm like, "George, you're getting to be that age where you're very mature.
Yes.
You don't have to. You can listen to these things, and you don't have to repeat them."
Exactly.
And he's like, "You're nuts, Mom."
Well, you know, Royal is 4, and she's
Oh my God,
in
she's
this,
so cute.
She is the censor queen. Whenever she hears a bad word, she can be in a total different room. Mom, Mama, Dada, you need to watch your mouth. I'm like, and sometimes I could be telling Black a story that has me lit up inside on fire.
Yeah. You got that
There
fire,
are
girl.
no other words to use but these words that I'm using.
Right.
And she'll come in, Mama, and Black will say, "Not right now, Fefa. Mommy needs this time." Because get out. I have got to get these words out. But she's in this stage where it's like, you can't say, damn. You can't say, shut up. You can't say anything.
Great. Let her be that way.
Yes. And I told her,
More
I said,
power to her.
Thank you so much for the accountability.
Yes.
I thank you. Mommy is going to work on it. You know
Helen
what she
says
said to me
that
the
too.
other day?
Helen's like, "That's a bad word, Mommy." I'm like, "You're right, it is."
It is.
Yeah.
You know what she said to me the other day? She was like, I gotta stay on you, my mom, because you're not working hard enough. I was looking at her like,
If you only knew
how
hard I am working.
How hard I'm working.
Helen will literally look at me and cry and say, "I don't want you to work. I don't want you to work." I'm like, "Helen, do you want your Barbies?" Yeah, I hate Barbies, by the way. I hate Barbies.
hate Barbies.
I hate Barbies. I'm like, this is bullshit. Nobody looks like this. Anyway, I truly, it pierces my heart.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I mean, I love my job. I love what I do. But
do.
I also, I got to work.
You know? Love your job, and you love introducing people to your clients.
Yeah, I do.
Really, really. I've met a lot of your clients in such a short time. You just love introducing them. You love telling about what they do. You're really, really good at what you do.
That's so nice.
Professionally and personally. You are, I remember when I had a conversation with you. We had lunch one day.
Yeah.
And then maybe a week after, we were on the phone talking. And I told you that I was so tired.
Yeah.
I was so tired of feeling the way that I was feeling. I was telling you that I was just tired of not living at my full potential. And I shared with you that I really do want to stop drinking, and it's something telling me to stop drinking, but I just can't. I'm not ready. And you lovingly said, I'll help you. I can help you with that. And I was just like, I don't want help right now.
Right.
And you let it go.
Yeah.
You let the conversation go. We start talking about something else. And you weren't pushy with that. I shared with you what I wanted to do. You memorized it, stored it, and you kept it.
Yeah.
And so I think I called you. We talked another time, and I told you, I said, I'm doing it. I'm going to stop drinking. I'm really going to stop drinking. I'm going to start doing it for the fast, but I feel like I need to do it for my life, because this addiction that I have does not help me having patience with my children.
100%. Yep.
And oh gosh. You are one of the voices that I have in my head when I think about my potential and who I am and my power. Because when you share with me what life could look like if I really decided to do it. Not in a pushy way or not in a judgmental way at all. It was just like, girl, this is what can happen. I see you. I see you here drinking, and I also see you here sober.
Yes.
And this is what could happen. And you's like, I can do this for you, and I can do this, and this for you. I can tell you about some classes or whatever it is that you need. I can help you with that. And I will never forget that conversation. I remember where I was. I remember where I was sitting. I remember what I had on. And I remember how I was feeling. And I was just like, I just met this fucking lady. How does she care this much?
Aww.
How does she care this much? And it resonated with me different from any other person that I've talked to, because, to be very honest, no one has ever stepped up and said, I'll help you to do this. It's always been, are you sure what you gonna do without drinking? Mm-hmm. That's so scary.
Yeah.
That's so scary, because being addicted to alcohol is the exact same as being addicted to crack. I don't care what nobody says. It is almost the same for me. And when I'm not encouraged to continue to not drink, then I feel like I have to let this person go. And that's scary. It's also hurtful. It's sad for me, because these are people that I love and I care about, And so that was a fear associated with me actually becoming sober. I'm going to lose people that I love and care about. But then I thought about you, and I was like, there's people out there that love and care about me sober.
Yes.
If I was sober.
Yes.
So I'll still have love and care, aside from my husband, because he's going to love and care about me and support me every time.
Shout out to Black. He's the man.
Shout out to Black. He is the man. He is so wonderful.
And Nick is too. My husband is too. We're lucky. You and I talk about that too.
Yes,
we're super lucky.
We talk about how lucky we are with our spouses. And so, I know people are thinking, but I'm going to touch on sobriety every time. Every time. It is literally, it saved my life. It's saving my life. It is bringing so much clarity to everything. I know I was joking. I wasn't joking, but still joking about not feeling like talking to the kids. But now I do feel like talking to the kids.
Exactly.
On the days, I feel like talking to them more now than before.
Yeah, and we're tired. I mean, we're talking right now about the days where we're like, oh, we don't want to do anything. But nothing beats being present with your kids. And I remember calling a couple times and checking up on you.
Yeah.
And I could just hear the hurt in your voice.
Yeah.
And I just knew that you didn't want to live like that.
Did not.
And I shared, I lost my brother to addiction almost 7 years ago. 7 years ago in June. And it just, it ruins lives.
It does.
And I always think of the kids.
Yeah.
And I always think about, I saw you going down two roads. I was like, it's either this road or that road.
Yeah.
Or it's even more hellish, the road in between.
Yeah.
Where you're just like white knuckling life.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, alcohol does not serve anyone. I know I'm annoying. People hate to hear it, but it's a toxin. I gave up drinking almost 4 years ago. I've never looked back. I feel like I am in my best, maybe not today, but my best mental and physical health. I mean, I feel such mental clarity. And I mean, maybe not today because we came back last night and I'm tired. And we just, exactly.
Shout out to you for coming back from vacation and literally driving here right when you got back from vacation.
Listen, I would not miss this for the world.
I'm so grateful for you.
Listen, you're doing the hard work.
Yeah.
And by putting yourself out there, you're keeping yourself accountable. And when I saw you today and when I saw you last time I saw you, I was like, look, it's amazing to watch the difference in how people look physically and how people project their inner light. And you know what? Shout out to you, because your life doesn't have to be on the exterior falling to shit.
Yeah.
You don't have to, your house doesn't have to be on fire to truly embrace sobriety and be able to put yourself first. And you're doing it.
Yeah, I told
you. And it shows. I mean, it shows.
I'm telling you, I don't know if you understand how much that conversation meant to me that day when you were like, I can help you. Aww. And I was just like, fuck. I'm so focused on how everyone else would think and how how I'm going to lose them. Right? I'm going to lose these people. These are my people. Like, you have all these thoughts. And what does my life look like sober? Like me sober? We're going to party. We're going to turn up. That's how I do. Like, I'm going to bring the kettle wine. I'm going to bring this. I'm going to bring this. I'm going to bring. And that's how I've always been. It's always what we eat and what we drinking. Right? Mm-hmm. And now it's like, all right, I know what I'm drinking. I'm going to bring my tea. Mm-hmm. I'm going to bring my Rico. I'm going to bring my Halls, and I'm going to drink tea. I'm going to drink my sparkling water, and I'm going to be good, right? And I have this mentality that you're going to be good. You are a ball of energy without it.
I'm a much more fun person without it. And you know, I can think clearer. Yeah. I can have a meaningful conversation with people. I think that's another reason why you and I just like broke down the bullshit, because there's not this, you know, we both have so much in common. Yeah. And you did it. I mean, you're doing it every single day. And what really lights me up when I think about it is the cycle that you're breaking.
Yeah. Welcome to Content Incubator HQ, a creative's paradise. Content Incubator HQ is a content creation studio located in Atlanta, Maryland. Are you ready to elevate your content through storytelling? Learn more about our studio amenities and membership packages at contentincubatorhq.com. Follow us on all social platforms. We can't wait to host you soon. And remember, you are the content.
You're breaking a cycle.
Yeah.
You know?
It has to be. It has to be. My kids, I don't want them to go through this. I want them. Black has a best friend, Vic. Shout out to Vic. He's never drank in his life. I don't understand people.
Unbelievable.
Like that.
I started in 8th, 9th grade. We were getting shit-faced. Sorry. We're like throwing up out of trucks. You heard me? Yuck.
And I look at him, I'm like, he is always so fun.
Aw.
Always so fun, so funny. You know, and I'm like, I can be that. And the more I got to, as the days go on, I'm like, I am so fucking dope.
Yeah.
I am dope. I am good to be around. I am a lot of fun sober. And it feels good. You know what I'm saying? It feels really good. And I also equate, you know, me not drinking to, of course, better health. Right?
Yes.
Extremely better. Like, I have cured my insomnia. Wow. I do not have insomnia anymore. I am sleeping throughout the night, and I am having some of the best sex. Like, sober sex is on a whole nother level. It is on a whole nother level. And you and I talked about that. We'll save that for another day. But it is so good, right? It is so, so good. But I wanted to talk to you about, you and I were talking the other day, and we were talking about, like, how society views women that talk about, like, bad pregnancies, not wanting to be pregnant anymore.
Yeah, yeah.
Or never wanting to be pregnant.
Right.
And I saw something on Instagram, and this lady was going off about women being super vocal about never wanting to be pregnant and not being sensitive to women that can't have children. But I think we need to have this conversation, because that's not what that is. It is not being insensitive to other women who have fertility issues. That's not what this is about. This is a personal thing that I feel, how pregnancy made me feel.
Right.
How crazy it made me feel, and how I never want to do it again, because how sick I was. Right?
Oh my God, I was so sick too.
I was so sick. But this is what I'm saying, this because when I found out I was pregnant, every time that I found out I was pregnant, I was probably around 7-8 weeks. And leading up to that 7-8 weeks, I was getting drunk a lot.
Right.
A lot. I mean, and I don't know if I can equate that to why my pregnancy was so hard, but it was so crazy.
I don't think you can.
Yeah, it was so crazy. But the pregnancies were just, I don't want to do it again. Sick every day, throwing up every day.
It was awful.
I was bedridden. Like, they put me on bed rest at 4 months with Royal.
Wow.
And I got so big. I had a nurse come to my house every single week.
Wow.
Every week. It was just not good. It wasn't good. And I say that when I say that, I have friends that have had fertility issues, and I'm very sensitive to that. But my thing is, I don't want to do it. I can't do it because now Black has a vasectomy. Thank God. Shout out to the vasectomies.
Nick won't do it. Sorry. Yes. Thank you, Black.
And you talked about your pregnancies being so hard too.
You know what?
That was right around the time you lost your brother too, right?
It was. So the first pregnancy with George, I had some trauma because I'd had 2 miscarriages before. Yeah. And that was just so hard because I had this doctor say, it's gonna be great. I had 2 healthy sonograms, and both were at like the 3-4 month mark. And you know, when you have miscarriages before, and nobody in the white community talks about miscarriages. I'll tell you that
serious?
much. Nobody. I had no idea. I had no idea. None of my friends. I had no idea. I have no idea.
Shame?
I have no idea. I have no idea. But once I opened up and I said, hey, I had this miscarriage, my friend's like, oh, I had one too. Oh, I had one too. Oh, yeah, I had one too. I mean, I was lucky they weren't that late, but they were late enough for me that my pregnancy with George was just fearful.
Yeah.
I just was so scared.
Yeah.
And I threw up every day. I felt hungover every single day.
Yes.
And just achy, and I wasn't bedridden, and I know it could have been so much worse, but I'll tell you one thing. I went into advanced labor. It was like 9 hours. I mean, they had poles. They had me like
Are you
trying
serious?
to do different positions to get that poor baby out.
Oh,
it was
my
just a lot.
gosh.
And then with Helen, I developed something called liver cholestasis. Same thing. I threw up every single day, felt miserable. And I was eating so much. So I gained like 45, 50 pounds with each pregnancy. So I wasn't missing a meal, I'll tell you that. But with Helen, I had something called liver cholestasis, which is this pregnancy-induced reaction where your body's not breaking down toxins. And I'd put money on it that the fact is that Monday before Helen was born, the police came and told me that my older brother had died, and I had to relay it to my parents and my family, and it was a nightmare. And I went into false labor that Wednesday, and then the night before his funeral, it was Thursday night, I felt this immense itching of my hands and feet, like burning. And I was like, okay, either I'm having a psychological breakdown or there's something physical going on. So it was like 3 a.m, and I'm Googling it. I'm like, what? I can't even tell you the degree of itch. I've never felt anything like that in my entire life. I Google it. It's like liver cholestasis, pregnancy, 1 in blah, blah, blah. Hundreds of thousands of people get it.
Oh my
Risk
God.
is stillborn.
Oh my God.
So I went to the funeral the next day. I self-diagnosed myself, texted my OB-GYN, who wasn't even in town. I was like, sorry, I know you're on vacay. Not sure why you gave me your cell phone number, but thanks.
What's going on?
Because here's what's happening. And and Helen was born 1:43 a.m. the day. So my brother's funeral was on a Friday morning. I went to the funeral because the baby was kicking, the itching has subsided, but went to the reception, gave George to my now sister-in-law. And I was like, take care of George. I'm going to the hospital.
Oh my goodness.
We went straight to the hospital. I had on my black dress and my pearls and everything.
Wow.
And so it was later that night that she was delivered. And it just, with one death comes a new birth. I mean, it was so symbolic, but man, it was like a made for TV movie kind of week.
That I'm picturing it.
It was crazy.
You
Sherelle.
in your dress.
It was crazy.
So they had to. So the liver
Cholestasis. Yep.
Do they know how it happens? Like what?
So they don't, and it's not like there was nothing I was doing wrong. I do think so. I got a terrible headache on that Monday. I'm sure it was just the stress of everything, and I was taking Tylenol. And we know that those kind of everything comes with a cost, right? Like, yeah, you buy it over the counter. It doesn't mean it's 100% safe. Yeah. So I'm pretty sure that my body just wasn't breaking down those toxins because here I was like taking a Tylenol. They let you take Tylenol during pregnancy, taking one every day because my head hurt and my sinuses hurt because I was all clogged up and just a mess. I mean, I think it could have been that.
Yeah. So you talk about you talk about your brother. You were very close to your brother.
You know what? I have to tell you, we were close in age.
Yeah.
But we weren't. I'm very close with my family.
Your mom is
3 brothers.
Everything. Oh my God.
Maria's the best.
Yes.
Isn't Maria the best? She loves you so much.
She is so. Oh, I love her so much.
She's great. She's chatty. She is chatty. She's chatty, and I love her. She's so great, and she loved you. She's like, I can see why you guys are such good friends. I was like, I know.
I love her. Yes, she was so good. She was
so great.
So you weren't really close.
So we weren't because I saw through it. I tried so hard my whole life to help him. I really did, and until it just ended in me being like, don't even talk to me. Like I can't. Like I can't. You're driving my parents crazy. You're driving me crazy. I can't live with this anymore. Yeah. And so it was one of those things where he was so deep into addiction that I didn't really know otherwise. Yeah. And it had been like that for decades. Yeah. So
this is a lot.
Yes.
Did it force you to try to deal with things on your own, or did you say, you know what, I need to go to therapy? Like, is that something that
I'm glad you asked that, because I did. I was like, I'm going to deal with this. I just shoved it down and was like, I have a son. I have a new baby. I'm not going to, this is business as usual. I'm going to mom as usual. I'm going to wife as usual. And I was having nightmares. And, excuse me, we ended up moving to the beach for 2.5 years. It was supposed to be 2.5 weeks. Like, leave it to me, you know? So we lived there during COVID, not to avoid everything, but just, it was awesome. We were living in a condo. We weren't ready to buy a house. So we moved to the beach for 2.5 years. And when I got there, I was like, I saw this trauma coming out sideways. I really did. And I started running, and, you know, I had, like, there was no alcohol. There was, like, I'm untreated ADD. Yeah. I'm the first one to say that, and I like it that way. Like, I just try to keep myself as, like, simple as possible when it comes to any kind of substances, and avoid everything I can, really. Yeah. But it ran deep. I mean, to the point where I was watching this show, I think it was called The Morning Show with Jennifer Aniston and Reese Witherspoon. Yeah. And
oh yes, that's such a good movie.
It is.
I love it.
On Netflix. It's so good. And there was this scene, and it just was so triggering where
Which one?
The one where the brother's going nuts, where the alcoholic brother comes to the station and is like ripping apart everything in the kitchen area. And I was so I just was like crying so hard that it was so overwhelming, and I was like, I have to deal with this. I have to. And so I found a great therapist at the beach, and she's not what I think about when I think about a therapist. She has a nose ring. She's got 2 kids. She's cool as shit. We laugh our asses off. And you know what?
Relatable.
She's so relatable. Yeah. And she put it, I had seen someone else when I lived in New York. I had a bad breakup, and I was, but I had never felt what the true therapeutic benefits of therapy could really be. Yeah. And this woman she's amazing.
How long have you been with her?
3 years.
It becomes a real relationship.
It is. And I'm like, can we be friends after? And she's like, no, it doesn't work like that.
Chill out. This is not what this is about.
Exactly. She's like, no. She's like, but we would be in real life. I'm like, I know. Exactly. And like, the beach is a small community. So she, like, I started a restaurant once, and like, it's just hilarious. Yeah. But yeah, no, it really is. It's a tight relationship. And sometimes you think, wow, like, what's wrong that you have to have therapy? Yeah. And I do it once every other week now. But it's really, it makes me a better mom. It makes me a better wife. It makes me give myself more grace. Yeah. And also just never, ever, just someone to be accountable for. I mean, it's something as simple as like, okay, what are your goals for the week? Yeah. And I'm like, I got to get my plates, my Maryland plates. I've had my Delaware plates for a while. I mean, it can be so simple. Yes. But it's also, what can I do? And we all have, life is, the one thing is it just never stops changing. Yeah. My dad's 84. He's my rock. My mom is in her 70s. I can't tell her. I can't say that. She'll get mad at me if she's watching this.
She's going to get mad at you.
But we're all ever changing, and life happens, and death happens, and challenges. Like, I get to talk about the kids and like how I can be better. And I've noticed too, when I'm great and I'm doing the best I possibly can, my whole household reflects that. Because we are the matriarch.
We are the ones that create the atmosphere in the house.
It's so true.
It is. And be like, if I am not okay, if I'm in a shitty mood, they try to stay away. Like, Black has gotten he has gotten so good with taking over and trying to recreate a more positive space if I'm in a bad space for the kids, because he used to take on, if I'm in a fucked up mood, he takes that on like he's almost offended by it. Yeah. And so now he's in a fucked up mood because I'm in a fucked up mood, and now the kids are like, what is going on? But now he's kind of like seeing, okay, my wife is not to be fucked with right now, so let me try to get this together. But in order for him to even have to muster that up, it's because the reason he has to muster that up is because if I'm not okay, nothing is going to be okay. I'm not cooking dinner. I'm going to have a bad attitude. I'm going to be in the room because I'm trying to get it together.
Yes. And now that you're not drinking, you're feeling all the feels.
Yes.
Like you are feeling everything that you have just subsided and put away.
Some days I hate it.
Yeah,
I really
of course.
do. It is
Of course.
tough.
Yes.
Oh God. It's been so many times that I'm like,
Yeah.
I need a drink.
Yeah.
But like I told you that when we were on the phone, like I just allow myself to feel that craving or that feeling.
Mm-hmm.
I envision myself going to the liquor store, picking up that Sauvignon Blanc, going back home, putting it in the freezer for a little while, pouring it and taking a sip. And then once I take the sip, I'm done with it. I'm done with it because I know what'll happen. What'll happen is I'll get one bottle. And then I'm like, that's like a little appetizer. Let me go get another bottle. And then another bottle and another bottle. And then I'll wake up in the morning feeling horrible.
Like what just happened?
Not wanting to get, because I wake up in the morning black and I go to the gym. Once we go to the gym, I come back home. I make sure everybody has their breakfast, their lunch, get everybody squared away. And then I can go on about my stuff. If I drink, I'm not going to do any of that. And if I do it, I'm going to do it with an attitude. I'm going to be slamming stuff because I have a hangover. I'm not feeling well. I want to throw up. Like, it's
awful.
It's just not, what I'm going to do. I have to tell myself every day that just take it one day at a time.
Yes.
But also, you don't need that.
You don't. And you know what? They say you play the tape forward. You just went through the process of what would really happen versus what romanticizing alcohol would do.
Yes.
You played the tape forward. You saw that you were going to drink more than you thought you would.
Yep.
And let's be honest here, I've done a lot of research on this. It's your reptilian brain that has engaged in a habit for so long. It's your lower brain. Like your advanced prefrontal cortex knows you don't need alcohol.
Yep.
You don't. But you know what? When the shit hits the fan and you feel triggered or you have a craving, that's this side of you saying, you know what? I really need a drink to get through this.
Take over.
And it tries and it gets strong. But guess what? The beauty is that craving will go away.
Yep.
And you wait it out, 15, 20 minutes?
Yep.
You do something else and you think about what my life will look like tomorrow morning.
Yep.
Because one drink is too much and one is never enough.
Yeah, it's never enough.
It's never enough. What's the point, right?
It's never enough. I used to be the girl that will go from wine to hard liquor to beer even. If there's nothing else left, I'll drink whatever is left. And I had to think about it like, shit, that is horrible. Why do I need this? Why do I have to look for other things?
It's an allergy. It's an allergy. You're allergic.
Crazy.
You're literally allergic to alcohol.
Yes, for real.
Yes.
No, seriously.
Yes, it's allergic.
And you know what I would tell people all the time? If you see me gaining weight, it's because, I'm drinking and alcohol puts weight on me. And that's true. That's partially true. But I always left out the addicted part. I'm addicted to alcohol. Yeah. And I've been drinking, I said on the last podcast, since I was 9 years old. I used to sneak my parents' beers at 9. You know why? I'm the oldest of 6 kids. Mm-hmm. So I took on a lot of responsibility from my parents, right? So I would... 9 years old, I was probably having a tough day, just like what I was saying with Helen. They have tough days, right?
Yes.
My father would come home from work. I'll never forget. We're feelers. So I'll never forget the sound. I'll never forget the look my father had and everything. My father would always come home with a pack of beer, right?
Was he an alcoholic? Hard to say, right?
It's hard to, and it's hard to say that. His dad was an alcoholic.
Got it.
Robust alcoholic. Like he got put out of real life states. That's how bad he was. He used to fight the sheriff. Like he was really, really bad. And so it just runs in the bloodline.
For us too.
Right?
Us
it's just
too.
in the
Big
bloodline.
Yep.
And it is addiction runs on both sides of my family, my mom and my dad.
Us too.
So my dad would have his beer. And I love you, Dad. I love you, Mom, too. This is not to say that you were bad parents. This is just my observation and something that I took on as a child, right? But my father would open his beer. I can still hear him opening it. And I can see the frost of how cold it was and him drinking it and him saying, I needed that. And as a 9-year-old, I had a tough day because I'm trying to navigate friends, and then I'm trying to navigate, what's going on with my brothers and sisters. And I'm like, would that help me?
Right.
If
they're doing it, I want to do
that
it.
way, then maybe it'll make me feel good like that. And so when they would go to sleep, I would go in and I would drink 2 or 3 at 9. Can you imagine? What the fuck did that do to me? They had no clue. No clue. Right? Because what parent is going to think that their 9-year-old is having thoughts that if it makes you feel this way, then I'll feel that way too. So I'll go and drink. I wouldn't think that. Like my daughter's going to go in. I mean, now I do because I did it. But not any normal parent wouldn't say, oh, my 9-year-old is going to go drink my beers.
Yeah.
Right?
And the same thing too with weight. Like I have to be so careful because I grew up and there was a huge focus on weight.
Yeah.
And it just is, it's just how it was.
Yeah.
And so I'm just so careful with Helen that we don't have those conversations because I don't want that. Because, I mean, literally, it's like mother, like daughter. You have to really, like you're seeking, oh, well, my dad does that. I'm going to do that, And it's just really, really interesting.
It is. And it's you really have to. You're responsible for these fucking kids, man. Like you have to really be an example.
I know it's so hard.
It is so hard. The pressure. They did not tell me this.
I know.
They just told me that I can get a sexually transmitted disease. They didn't say anything like you're gonna have to fucking be responsible and be a great human.
I know.
So this person can be a great human.
I know it's so hard.
It's pressure.
It's so much
God
pressure.
Damn.
But you know what? I gotta say, it is the best gift in the entire world.
It really is.
The best gift. It is hard as hell.
Yes.
But it is the best gift.
You know what I love? So let's talk about, we both love fitness, right?
Yes.
And so Royal, I work out, the evening workouts that we do them at home. And Royal that girl does not fuck around, man. She is the best accountability partner anybody could ever have. Every night, she's like, okay, we're done eating. It's time to work out. Every night. It's like clockwork. She has downloaded a kids fitness app on both Black and my phone so that she can do her stretches and her movements before we go into the actual workout.
Wow.
And this is her at 4. And she's
smart as a whip.
When I pick her up from school, she's like, okay, Mom, I hope you wash my workout clothes because and this is her, like she's had a long day. She's in her car seat because I have to work out tonight. I need your phone and I hope you didn't delete my app off your phone for me. So it's like that's have
huge.
To continue.
I gotta tell you, I've always played sports and I feel like that I've just such amazing memories. Some of the best memories of my life are playing sports, and neither of my kids like sports.
Really?
And I'm like, come on. And I love George, and we signed him up for soccer because you just got to try one, right?
Yeah, just try it.
And he's like picking flowers, like looking at sticks. And I mean, maybe it's better. Maybe it's God's way of saying, you know what, you don't need to have kids who play sports because you would be the worst soccer mom.
You would be out there screaming and yelling.
I was like, come on, George. I mean, I have this competitive nature. I can't help it.
They would kick your ass up out of here.
Get this annoying mom. And I mean, seriously, I just can't help it. I loved team sports, and it's not the thing. Like Helen wants to sing and dance and be Taylor Swift, and George wants to play Minecraft and be an engineer and build stuff. And I'm like, great, as long as you guys are functioning adults and are happy, then I can feel good.
Yes. So tell me what your workout routine is. What do you do? Like, what type of workouts do you do?
So I used to be, when I lived at the beach, I used to run. And I would run like 6 miles a day. And I did a half marathon, and I did 5K, and I got the number 1 in my age group, but I tore the hell out of my knee.
Shit.
And I tore my meniscus, and it was so bad. I just overdid it. And you know what? I'm an overdoer.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I'm an overdoer.
Do
I've
you know
always
what
been.
Black
It's my
calls me?
personality type. I just do.
Black calls me Sherelle Overdo It Duncan. DMV.
High
He
five.
really does call me that. Sherelle, overdo it, Duncan.
Telling you and I are soul sisters.
Overdo it like a motherfucker.
Overdo it like a motherfucker. But I've gotten better. It might just be like you're in your first year of,
Yes,
you know what I mean? Like I've gotten
overdoing it.
so much better. I do, but I get into something and I get hard into it.
Yeah.
Like I really want to do it. And so for me, it was running and I was really, really into it and I really did it and I overdid it.
Yeah.
And I used it as such a great stress relief. And I had all my good ideas when I was running. I remember I had, Tracy McQuarter was one of my amazing clients. Now she's on sabbatical. But I remember I would be running on the phone with her and we'd be talking about like this
Yeah.
Netflix series. And I was just like
Wow.
running outside. That sounds
Effortlessly.
bizarre. Like I could never do that right
Effortlessly.
now. No. So I go to the gym now and instead of doing like all this cardio, hours of that, I do like a half an hour, you
Yeah.
know, or I'll do like, I don't know, I could probably run a couple miles. I do, but it's nothing like it was. Like I
Yeah.
really just don't want to injure myself more. I just want to keep. So I'll do a spin class 3 or 4 times a
love
week.
spin.
Spinning's great. And
It's
God,
so good.
It is so
It's
good.
so good.
Changes your butt too.
I don't need no more changes to my ass, honey. Let me tell you, if this ass sit up any higher, well, it can get a little higher.
I mean, I've always had a butt.
You have a butt.
I
Oh,
do.
remember I saw your butt with the gala. I said, "Ooh, look at this ass, honey."
You got a juicy butt.
That
and I
butt
was like,
juicy. I said, "Look at this juicy butt."
I don't know. I was
girl."
like, is that a compliment? I don't know.
Yes,
I know.
it is a compliment. It is a huge compliment in the Black community.
I know,
It's,
and
it can be frowned upon in the
You know
the
what
white
though?
community.
It's changing.
It's
Like,
changing.
It's
Okay.
changing because
It's
I go to
changing.
the gym and I was like, my butt's getting huge from spinning, and everyone's like, that's great. It's great. And like these are, you know, people from all different backgrounds.
Ass is a beautiful
good.
thing.
It is.
It is
It
a
is.
beautiful thing.
It is.
It is complementary to a lot of things.
Yes.
And it's really good. It should not be frowned upon. It is
uh-uh.
awesome.
I've changed.
Having ass
I've
is
changed
good.
my expectations of my body too.
Okay.
100%.
Yeah.
So I have been so much more gentle. I don't restrict food. I just try to eat healthy.
Yeah.
And to me, that's a huge thing. I lift weights now. This is so
Yes.
recent. I never used to lift weights. I
It
used to be like,
feels
this is
good, though,
boring as
right?
hell. You know what? It feels really, really good.
Really good.
And I think that's a great example too to show our kids like strong.
Yes.
Not skinny, because you know us
Yes.
white women want to be skinny. But skinny is not healthy.
You are not skinny. You have a beautiful shape. You have thickness to you. You are not skinny. You're petite, but you are not skinny. at
No, I
all.
feel fit.
You look great.
I feel fit.
Yes, you are.
Yeah.
You are very fit. I saw you when you get out the car. I said, "Oh, come on, yoga pants. Come on, yoga pants, girl."
You always make me feel so good about myself.
I said, "Come on,
You
girl,
really
with these
do.
yoga pants on, coming up here like that with this thigh meat." I loved it. It looks really, really good. It looks really good. And being thin is, I don't think that should be the goal.
No,
I think just being
strong.
healthy and
Yes.
strong,
Yes.
and whole. Right,
Yes.
that is the goal. My goal is never to have been thin. I've always been very curvy, even as a young girl, very curvy, but I am very strong. Black always looks
Yeah,
at me
you
when
are.
we're in the gym and he's like, "You're getting stronger. You're getting
Yes.
stronger." But I've always been very strong. I've always had an athletic heart rate. Every time I go to the doctors, I've always had an athletic heart rate.
Like what?
Like, what you mean?
Like what? Like in the 60s?
Yes,
Yeah, me too.
always.
Yeah.
Both Black and I. Well, Black has always been athletic his whole life.
Yeah.
He's played sports his whole life. I have never played sports, but I've always been very active. I walk very fast.
Yeah, and you have groups that you teach.
Yeah,
I mean,
well, I don't teach anymore.
Yeah.
So don't y'all come asking me. I'm not teaching anymore.
Taught.
Exactly.
Past
but
tense.
I've always been very, strong, and I like being fit. I like
Yeah.
being able
Fit
to
is everything, right?
Yes,
I
I
love
like being
being
able
fit.
to pump through them reps with the heavy weights. The adrenaline, and now that I'm sober, it helps so
Sleep.
much better.
Yes.
Oh my God,
Yes, with
everything is just
sleep.
so moist and so easy to just move and so limp. Oh.
Did you say moist?
Yes. Yes.
Oh my God.
Yes. it
Everything.
is. Everything. It's just there's no the tension is not there. It's just loose. It's you're tight where you need to be tight.
Yes.
You're loose where you need to be loose, but you're strong all over, and
Yeah.
it feels really, really good.
That's a recent thing. The whole just body acceptance and embracing who you are and being strong.
Yes.
That has been a real recent evolution for me.
Yes.
And I'm so grateful for it because I want my daughter to see, you know what, mommy goes to the gym
Yep.
because she wants to be strong
Yep.
and she wants to be healthy and, she wants to feel good in her clothes.
Yep.
But at the same time, I'm not going there to,
Yeah.
To be having any kind of eating issue.
Let me tell you, I loved that you were here with me today. I knew that this conversation would not be just about one thing. I knew it would be boom, 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 all over, because that's how our conversations go.
Always.
And I with this podcast, I don't know who this is for, I wanted to show people that everything doesn't have to be one-sided. It could be multidimensional. You can sit and have a conversation about so many different things. Somebody got something out of this. A lot of people got something out of this. They got something from the sobriety. They got something from the parenting, something from the pregnancy, something from fitness, therapy. We talked about so many different things in such a short time. And I love that. I love that we can just move from conversation to conversation and share our experiences, share our stories, and share how we've overcome things, because life is hard.
It is hard. And you know what, Sherelle? You are an onion. You are like the most beautiful onion I've ever met. You are layered and layered and layered.
Thank you.
And you're one of those people that you get to know, and you're like, it's just wonderful. Like, you just have so much beauty inside and out. And you just are ever changing, and you're holding on to that good, and you're on a roll, and
Thank you so much.
You're just doing so great.
I love you so much. I thank you so much for pouring into me, and I thank you so much for allowing me to take a journey, a very scary journey, and feeling like that I won't be alone doing it. Some days, I will have to do it alone, but most days I'll have people there cheering me on, giving me resolutions, affirming me. I'm not really an affirmations girl, but during this time I've realized that being affirmed and being told that that you see me, right, is very important, because some days I don't recognize myself, because it's like, oh my God, you're not drinking, and I know I talk about it a lot, but that's the biggest thing in my life right now, like being sober.
And you know what? It's your number one. Because everything else will fall to the waist.
Yeah.
Like, it's your number one priority. Yeah. It's your job.
Yeah.
Everything else is bonus. Everything else is bonus.
It is a fucking hard job with no paid overtime. I'm working on the weekends. I work on holidays.
And even your brain, even when you sleep, I'm sure you're still having drinking dreams, or I don't know.
I haven't had drinking dreams.
That's good.
But I have had dreams of me at like 26 dying. That's a whole nother thing.
Yeah.
But I know it's something to that. And I'm grateful for that too, because at 26, it was a wild year for me.
Yeah.
It was a wild year for me. But I love you so much.
I love you. I love you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, MB. Tell people how they can get in touch with you. Are you taking new clients? What's going on? Because I know you're so busy.
We're always looking. We're always having conversations. And
you gotta have your shit together with MB, because I'm telling you, you gotta have your shit together. Don't come with. Just have your shit together.
So people can follow me. I feel like MBO_media, which is my Instagram handle, is like it's almost like a portfolio.
Yeah, it is.
And to me, that's where, there's always a lot going on there.
Yes.
So that's the best way, MBO_media.
Okay. Well, I love you so much.
I love you.
Thank you so
much, Sherelle.
Thank y'all so much for tuning in to another episode of I Don't Know Who This Is For podcast. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, review the podcast. Please, we are trying to grow. We are growing this community, and we need your help to do that. So I thank you so much for believing in me and sharing this space with me, and sharing it with your coworkers, your girlfriends, your friends, your kids, your husband, everybody. This is for whomever. So thank you so much, and we'll see you next time. Mwah. Healing doesn't have an expiration date. You have to keep working on it. You can't grow and continue to live the life of a trash person. It's just not going to work. I don't know where I would be without God. I'm being honest. Like, yeah, I curse a lot, but I don't know where I would be without God. I truly get it. I mean, I empathize with you. I just feel like I wouldn't have done it that way.